and now you're coming out with your own memoirs of it. But I take, by listening to your story so far, there's a lot of emotions or things that you haven't revealed, not only probably to me, but maybe to your own inner structure, your family, your husband. What are they? What are
the things I haven't revealed to my husband?
Some of it, not all of it, because I want to write a book. Not all of it, just a little bit.
Oh, no, you like that. No, just kidding. I waited to write the book for a lot of reasons, and one of them was my husband. So I talked to him about writing this book many years ago, and he wasn't sure that he was comfortable with what I think he felt was our business being out in the streets at that point in time, because if I was going to write the book, I was going to write it all. Mm-hmm. I was going to write the truth. I was going to stop trying to protect reputations, starting with my own. And yeah, there's no sense in telling a story. Nobody wants to hear an antiseptic story, and that doesn't honor anything. And like, truthful storytelling heals us. And so it was a big cost to count. Am I going to tell these stories? And am I going to tell them, my husband's going to read them and my children are going to read them. And, I did some foolish things, growing up, and I wasn't always protected by the people who maybe should have protected me growing up. And, how will that reflect?
What do you mean foolish things?
I mean, long story short, I'd say I went through a period of promiscuity as a teenage girl. That's one thing. I, went back and forth about where I got my worth. I pulled away from friends at home because I no longer felt I could relate to them because my life had become so different. A lot of things, 40 chapters of things. But when Muhammad passed away and a lot of other members of his inner circle passed away, I started feeling like, man, these are precious stories. Muhammad is a once in a, millennium, I don't know, a once in forever man. And I didn't want, these people were going to the grave and taking their stories with them. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want that to happen with my stories. I feel like the world needs more Muhammad, and I wanted to get the stories out there. And so I started writing them. And that's how I began, is just like writing down, oh, I remember the time when Muhammad said this. I remember the time when we did that. I remember the time when we went there. And I started writing, but as I wrote, it all took shape, and it reshaped the way I viewed my journey, and it reshaped the way I viewed myself. And I saw a lot more of what he was trying to do with me. And the purpose of just sharing the stories about Muhammad changed. And I realized, no, this is my story, and he's so central to it, but this is my story. And writing it has been empowering and healing. And I think it's a story that people are going to be able to relate to, even though my situation is so unique. Being a girl and searching for your worth and authenticity and all of these things, what we're willing to sacrifice to fit in, all these things are really universal. So I was just
What did you sacrifice to fit in?
Well, I risked a lot of relationships with my family. We talked about my grandparents, for one. I, for a time, departed from who I was. I think just, I focused on the external. I focused on trying to be attractive to men, trying to make it in a career, not to judge modeling or acting, but in a career that can, focus on the external. And I don't think those are the things I was meant to do with my life. So I think I sacrificed myself for a while. The journey was beautiful though, but there was a lot to learn through it.